Hello. In this video, we're going to discuss the business plan aspect of the E-CIP challenge. So for the actual business plan, all we're sort of expecting you to do is come up with some of the basic information about how your business is going to work. So in the last video, I walked you through an example of Uber and Airbnb. In this video, I'm going to talk about how Uber sort of actually works and makes a profit. So Uber's business plan can be found on the internet, like I was saying, just like every other company pretty much. And this website in particular will be linked in the resource doc that I've been referencing. And you're going to see a lot of businessy jargon here that you might not totally understand, which is totally fine. We're not expecting you to use all of this jargon in your pitch. We just sort of want you to get an idea as to how businesses actually work. And this is something that you can maybe reference and look at to sort of see how do companies think about how they're going to make money. But essentially, the way Uber makes his money, and you can do a little research on this, is by taking a percentage of the money that the rides actually cost. So if a ride costs like $20, then Uber might take a certain percentage of that. And you can see here, this says that like Uber's largest source of revenue is its delivery business, but its rides business generates the most profit. That's another difference you need to take into account. Revenue doesn't actually mean profit. Revenue is simply just the amount of money that a business is bringing in, while profit is going to be that total revenue minus the actual expenses that you make for your businesses. So for this actual E-CIP challenge, what we want you to consider are a couple of things. The first thing is are you going to make a profit? And if so, how are you going to make that profit? Are you going to have like a subscription service that users have to buy to access more features? Are you going to sort of have a one-time fee where people will pay to use your product or service? Are you going to run ads and make it free for the users to have? What is your actual plan to make money off of this product? The second thing is, who is your target audience? Are you going to have a very specific target audience? Are you going to have a very broad target audience? Who do you actually want your product to be used by? And that could be like students, teachers, anyone who uses a car. For Uber in specific, we saw that it was just like people who were previously maybe cab drivers, or just anyone who's looking to use a cab to get from place A to place B. And I would argue that it's a lot better to have a specific market for these things, because if you have a very specific niche market of people that you want to appeal to, then it's going to be really easy to make your product so that specific group of people is going to love your product, which is obviously going to be great. You want to make it so that a lot of people love your product. So the last sort of aspect of what I want you to think about is going to be some sort of big costs involved with this process. So you've thought about how you're going to make a profit, you've thought about who your product is going to be used by, and now think about what are some major costs that are going to be going into creating your product. Are you going to have to spend money on your website? You're gonna have to spend money on like giving your product to a lot of people, reaching people, getting businesses involved. Where do the big expenses come from? And obviously this is not gonna have to be a full official business plan or anything like that, but we're expecting you to have some of the details thought about. And if this potential idea is gonna turn into a business later on, it'd be really good to know these things in advance. And I'm actually gonna link some extra resources here as well. These are all gonna be on the resource document, by the way. But this is a pretty good YouTube series. It's from Crash Course, and it covers a lot of the really interesting basics behind entrepreneurship and creating a business. And it's not required that you view these, but if you do want to go farther and take that extra step to learn more about entrepreneurship, I'd really recommend you do that.